Welcome back. Time to find out who Declan Brennan will play in Pro Series 6 final. It is CD Chris Day taking on the former Pro Series champion Jake McCartney. And I'd say two players that maybe we wouldn't have picked at the start of the tournament as being in the semi-final here, but it shows the strength and depth. Jake McCartney playing his first tournament of the year, and Chris Day is kind of really making a really good run for the first time since the World Championships in Ireland a couple of years ago. Both players have played brilliantly to get through to this stage. Played some high quality pool, especially Chris Day when he knocked out Chris Melling. The level of pool he was playing at, the way he was breaking. And it's a tough one to call. A very evenly balanced. Simon Webb and Tony Holgate still with you for the duration of the tournament.
Starting off in a nice little double there is Jake. Also good position so he can cut this yellow back into the corner. Didn't want that brush off the red though. And there's the first little mistake. He's left himself absolutely nothing. The only thing I can possibly see there is playing the yellow into that red straight in front of him. See if he could bump it into the middle, but I think you might have to play it because I can't see any sort of safety shot. Well, that's a pretty good shot. I didn't see it because I'm absolutely useless at safety.
You're not a big fan of the safety, Tony. You just want to go, don't you?
I like it. I find it joyous. No.
Do you think you'd have enjoyed, joking aside, do you think you'd have enjoyed this rule set more if you were back?
Absolutely. Yeah. This would have suited me down to the ground. No thinking, smash them all around the table to your heart's content. Skipping back to my seat after making a massive mistake.
No more being tortured by somebody that's playing the negative side of the rule set.
No. No, I'm a big fan of these rules. It's a great change that they made a while ago. Makes for exciting viewing. I mean, there's still safety shots there, and it's a different type of safety, but you're progressing the game with your safeties. It's got to a stage where, I'm going back quite a while, but you could have an hour of pool with nothing happening, and it's just,
yeah, not good for the spectator at times.
No, it wasn't.
But take nothing away. If you enjoy playing it that way, that's fine. I get it completely.
Well, it ended up with Paul was watching paint dry.
Say what you mean, Tony. Say what you mean.
Paint was watching pool dry, whichever. It was it. But this is many years ago, so
yeah.
Thankfully, we're beyond that. But some funny old shots out at the start of this match, Simon.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a semi-final, doesn't it? Both players have played great through to this point, but slightly edgy opener. I said at the start of the semi-finals, whoever won the first one would be the favourite in the final, whether it be Christoph or Declan. But it means very little in these matches. But they both played brilliantly in that semi. Really treated us to a high-quality affair, but it's the mistakes in the middle that create the drama, isn't it? There was just enough on both sides that just made it really entertaining.
We went to play the loss of turn there, did Jake McCartney. Went to knock in Chris's red, but it's left it hanging there, and Chris will now have first real opportunity.
And to really dig this one, just to hold the white. Oh, he's done it too much. No, pulls up in time. Good shot. Prime then for CD to take this opening frame.
Lovely shot there from Chris Day. Super control. Lands perfectly in that little gap there for the with the 3 reds. We'll take the middle one now. And this first frame looks dead and buried. And it looks like it's going to go the way of the man from Suffolk. He's got a slight angle here. He can just punch this out. Both reds in the same bag. Black, you think, will be sailing into this bottom left-hand corner. Nicely done there by Chris Day.
And he could do it again. But he needs balls to come in off the break to do that. And it's dry.
Extension called. I'm not sure what he's playing to do there. I think, well, he's trying to nudge some of the pop, but he's well, he's going to have to take that long yellow into the top right hand corner. There's nothing else.
He said after I spoke to him after the quarter-final that he just kept coming to the table with wide open chances, very little to do. Been absolutely not the case here at the start of the semi-final. That was a creative loss of turn.
Yeah.
It's actually worked out incredibly well for Jake. That's a good fluke, in all honesty. If that yellow sits over the top right-hand corner pocket, he's just gifted Chris Day a real chance to win the frame. He was obviously trying to make a very adventurous double to the top left. Got it all wrong. But unless this yellow passes to the corner, I didn't think it did, but overhead makes you think maybe it does.
We try to play it off the yellow. Well, that's a clear cut now for Jake. He can cut this red into the middle. Or he can even go right up to the top for the ball over the pocket. I feel he'll play the one in the centre. Get rid of this now. Leaves everything very, very open. Just wiped its feet slightly, but no dramas for Jake. Nicely done there.
Yeah, just tracked a little bit further than perhaps he wanted. Maybe slightly off angle as well. Doesn't have to do too much, sort of nip it back a fraction.
Yeah, if he doesn't get back far enough to play red in the centre and then black down in the corner, he just plays the black in the middle. Maybe he's playing for that all along. Could have done with maybe a couple of more inches there, but got to be a bit careful. That's very nicely done.
Both players on the board now, 1-1. Jake McCartney. A little bit of fortune to get that chance, but he'll take it. Good finish on the back of that fortune, though. See if Chris can find a ball this time. It's been such a big story of his run here, the quality of his break. Oh, there's some power there, isn't it? Incredible height. It's a new style. He's really standing up tall on it, more than I've seen from him in the past. And very athletic break, isn't it? Really driving through. Hard to be consistent when there's a lot of head movement, a lot of moving parts in the break, but you can see the power.
It's very similar to Tom Cousins' old break when he's bouncing up in the air. Getting a lot of air time with the cue ball.
Sort of similar. Phil Harrison stands up tall on it occasionally, and he loses control a fair amount. Something that Ryan Fleming's been doing, and doing with good success, is the same break. Oof. That's not success, though.
Yellow ball's in play.
All very tight and fiddly, and it's all going to come down to can he get a good angle on the one in the centre to get at the bottom of the table. He's okay here to drop this in and get on the one top left. Getting back out onto the next yellow nicely is not easy.
Depends if you just chip this yellow in at the top and bring the cue ball off the two rails and come down. Just land in near that at the centre pocket. That's where he wants to be. Leave him a little angle to roll down the table. Obviously, the yellow on the bottom rail will be his last one.
That's a nice flick. That's a well-controlled shot. You have to feel he played that in that way.
Yeah, clever shot.
That was really well struck. Very easy to leave that one short. You're going to get through the ball nicely for that. Mistake punished by Jake McCartney. He gets himself in front for the first time. When you reach the semis, is that title in your mind at all?
For me, probably the quarters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the big tournaments were televised from the quarter-final stage. So it's when you transfer into the big arena, it's when, you know, the butterflies start to happen. You think, you know, you see the trophy about in the arena, things like that, and
yeah,
that's when you start to think about it. You know, the early rounds, you're sort of like shuffling about, just trying to hang in there, stay in the tournament. But if you can get to the last 8, you know, you've played about 4 or 5 matches by then, and so you're well into it. You know, you feel obviously confident because you've obviously won games to get there, so
yeah,
no one's giving them to you.
Feeling good about your game, but also sometimes that sight of like the final hurdle, the prize that's there, just creep in, and sometimes that can help, sometimes that can hurt. Sometimes your character.
You get there and you'd end up playing somebody that you've got a really good record against. You think, well, I should win that, and I should be, and then you'd end up playing poorly because you
feel like you've got something to lose because you feel like you've almost given it to yourself before you've won it.
Yeah, you'd be playing, you know, you play something like Mellon and you think, well, I've got to be right at my best and hope he doesn't play too well, makes mistakes. But then you'd play, let's say, another player that you've had a really good record against and think, I've only got to turn up and play half decent, I should win this. And then they surprise you by playing out of their skin and everything just crumbles around you. And
such a mental game.
It is.
Jake's in prime position here to win 3 straight.
Yeah, he's come out strong. The man from Oz. He was just saying earlier before he went out, he said a few of the guys will be just getting up in Australia now, he said, to watch him.
Yeah. Early start.
For his friends and family and fans.
It's another one where he wants a good angle. He didn't have it. He was really trying to get onto the one in the centre pocket. He didn't have the angle to do that. I thought he would try and leave a good angle from the yellow at the bottom to get there.
Uh-oh.
Got this one wrong. He's just trying to leave it low. I don't think he was trying to go above the 8 ball there, which obviously would have been better, but the gap's small. I think he was just thinking low and then using the thin clip with top cushion. In trouble now. Chris not going to rush it. Very good snooker.
Left him for a fair gap there, you know, just coming off that side rail.
Tough one to judge, though.
Yeah, but he'll have a good go at this one down in the corner. It's thin. Yeah.
How easy is it to deal with the 2 reds at the top, or does he play another snooker and then go?
think he's going to have a pop at these now. Obviously, play this with left hand side. He can force or sort of push the top red in with the left. Spin takes it. Might play a safety now though. Risky though. So either safety or a long pot. Take your pick, Chris.
You feel he should go here.
To be fair, he could take the red that's lowest down the table and sort of play it in a way where if he did miss it, he's not really leaving anything easy for Jake on the yellow. So he'll just sit behind this red that's near the middle. He bravely screwed back into it. It's not ideal. Maybe going to have to play this red that's over the middle into the top right hand corner. He is.
Nope.
No, hit the rail first.
I watched Chris play from out in the arena against Chris Melling, and he just looked very assured, very clear mind of what he was trying to do, and did it. Whereas that one, it just felt like he was second guessing himself a little bit on decisions, which one to take, how to take it, and how to go, and he ended up missing a ball he shouldn't have missed. He's ended up having to take on a ball he shouldn't have been taken on as well. That's a good shot from Jake.
Just wondered if maybe the occasion, you know, he's not won a pro event.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking, this is a semi-final. 2 away from doing just that. I just wonder if it's just in the back of his mind there now and starting to fester. Things are not going right for Chris Day.
Yeah, that will end this frame, and not in the Englishman's favour. You can get frustrated and go, oh, how unlucky have I been there? But he knows he should have won the frame in the previous visit. That was the problem, not the shot he's just played.
Down goes the black, and Jake McCartney gets into a 2-frame lead.
The break's not happening either for Chris. He's not got the control we saw earlier on in the event. This is the problem with this style of break. It's hard to get the contact right. You can see he's coming right across the front ball there. Loads of side. When it works, it's fabulous.
Where's Chris gone, and who's that fella that's sat in the arena?
Yeah, it tells us he is very much thinking about it.
Yeah. It's a lonely old place out there when it starts to all go against you.
It's so hard to do though, but it just got to say it's another match and not. But there's definitely, you know, it's a semi-final feel, isn't it? It's the prize on offer is so big.
It's a funny one there to take reds, I don't know. I thought yellows might have been the favourite.
It's the red bottom left, isn't it? And the one just to the left of where the cue ball is now.
Yeah.
I'm with you. The yellows, to me, feel...
I've seen his plan.
Yes.
He has a cunning plan. Red off yellow down here. I didn't spot it initially. Good job Jake did.
That's why he's there and we're here.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, very clever, because he solved both problems in one strike.
Yeah, very clever shot indeed from the...
But to see it early
Australian.
enough to get there and work it out and to decide that's better than the yellows. Because the yellows they weren't at plain sailing, they were far from it. So
no,
it was a very good decision.
Well, you have your initial glance at the table and you say, right, there's 2 problems there and only 1 problem there, so you think that's the colour. But didn't look at really the way of solving it, and And Jake had already spotted it. Just got to get the cue ball down the table now. Anywhere.
Yeah, nicely done. And this match really isn't going nicely for the Australian right now. 3 balls away from a 4-1 advantage. And the advantage of having the next break.
Just a little bit of angle there. I think you might just roll this in and play the black into the right centre, because I think you can get right behind it just on the rail. I wouldn't try and be too fancy. That's exactly what he's done. It's looking pretty solid.
Very solid. Very good finish that. Favourite one of the match actually. You can see this one getting away.
Oh, so does that plant go with those reds? But it's got an easy one over the top left-hand centre.
There's work though everywhere, isn't
Yeah.
there? Red and yellow together.
Well, that was important if that plant goes there, because he doesn't have to shift those two.
I'm not sure. I think it could be made. It looks awkward though. Looks like it's set right on the jaw.
Yeah. Well, a refusal.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. And I like it at 4-1 up. I really like it. And it's probably the right shot regardless of the scoreline. But the worst thing you can do there is chase a bad finish, get 3, 4, 5 balls in and not get out, because you're giving Chris Day that gift you want. And that's where I quite like the decision based on the scoreline. If it was 0-0, maybe you could make the case, is it worth going? But don't give Chris Day something easy.
No. No. The thing is, when you're 4-1 down, you think you really need to quickly get frames back. So Chris is going to be the one that's tended to take more chances.
And maybe he is here. Creative way of getting into it and taking reds. Maybe he just wants to take reds and then he might control a tactical exchange.
Not really done anything there, Chris. Just checking out yellow passes between the 2 reds into that top corner. I feel he's going to play something to develop the 3 yellows.
Well, the plant's on. If that yellow that does go that he's next to top left, this is actually a genuinely good chance to get out.
Wow, I didn't believe that went. I was looking at the overhead earlier and I thought that doesn't go. I thought the red was in the way, but it does. Well.
You have to say it's a poor shot from Chris to leave that.
Well, if he gets out here, Jake McCartney, that's a massive, massive kick in the backside for Chris.
Didn't quite leave enough angle to get across, so had to really force it. And now he's hampered queuing, and this is obviously tight and awkward with what's going to happen with the cue ball. Bumping the other yellow on.
Yeah, well, he's going to bump the other yellow into that red, and it'll just really, you think it's all he's going to do is leave the yellow on the cush and push the red over towards that corner. This is quite unpleasant. Yeah, it was low percentage.
I sort of got away with it in terms of made a right mess of these reds.
Yeah, and the yellows are still all very easy, so...
Where's the safety for Chris? Yeah, scratching his head. I'm not sure what you can do with this as well, Chris. It's a clever loss of turn, but it's just gifted Jake a chance. I mean, that looked super low percentage to not leave. You know, he was gambling a little bit there not to leave something on.
I don't think he had any other options at all.
No, I don't. He was in a world of trouble there. And Jake got very fortunate with his leave.
Well, one good positional shot here from Jake. He's going to have a very big lead. Played it with the side. He didn't mean for that little nudge, but I'll be tempted to play the double there. Can obviously cut it in, but it's quite tight. Going with a double. Played it nicely, screwed the cue ball back as well for the black. Well.
That's okay.
Just for a second now I thought that cue ball was going to go and tuck itself behind that yellow.
It would be better if he could see the red right centre. I think it'd rather be reds than yellows. I think the red at the top does pass to top left and the reds would connect better together. But yellows aren't bad, it's a chance. Mind you, it's a tricky first ball and not a great angle. Means he can't get nicely on the next ball. So yellows are tricky to start because of that. This is where the sort of mental strength comes in. If you're feeling negative and down, why can't I see a red here? I've got a terrible angle on the yellows. But if you just looked at the table and went, okay, these yellows are good. Oof, you feel more positive about it.
He's looking a bit dejected, is Chris. Sort of missed that and just trudged straight back to his chair. One big pot down the bottom for Jake. Plays this long cut.
Does he take it on or just leave the cue ball on the bottom cushion?
I think he takes it on. Not very close to it.
He takes it on and he misses it, and this time he does not get away with it.
This is a much better chance now for Chris. Didn't want that bump.
Yeah, not good. I mean, he can still pot this yellow, but the control of the cue ball is going to be a tough part of this.
He's huffing and puffing.
Maybe Chris's turn to get away with the miss here.
Yeah. There is a safety, however. Just bump off that red that's on the side rail. You can block all 3 yellows. Can Jake. Obviously, it won't be too difficult for Chris to hit. Wow, that's quite a bizarre shot.
Quite clever though.
I think he can cut that yellow.
Do you think? I think he's absolutely can't. I think he played that in that way. I'm sure he. I think that's why I think he can't. Mind you, he might have knocked those 2 yellows into a plant.
Well,
So
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I agree with this. Come off the bottom rail. You can't fail to hit this.
yeah. Excellent shot.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I think just rolling into that red at the side there would have forced a whole different shot from Chris, and you certainly would have left that plant there. So I think a bit of a mistake there from Jake.
Chris absolutely has to put this on the board now. Lost 5 straight frames. This to stop the rock. Frame on the board. Chris Day needed that. Really needed that.
Jake on the break. Leading 5-2 against Chris Day. Uh-oh.
Well, well, well.
Has the match just turned?
Yeah, it could well be. This is where you've got to be ruthless. Chris has walked out the room trying to reset. He needs to be reset here. Chance to go 5-3 and have the next break 5-4. That's how he needs to be thinking. Not easy though. Red, yellow and 8-ball clustered. Maybe target the red below the 8-ball here. Yeah, beautiful. And now it looks like a better layout.
He wants to get a wriggle on as well, looking at the clock. I know he's got sort of plenty of time just to get 3 frames on the board. But if he was to drop a frame to Jake, he might need that extra time.
I'd say Chris is one of the players that hasn't... We've seen a lot of players kind of naturally just speed up in 30-second play so that more of the match goes through and then less of a jarring change when they get to 15. I don't think Chris is quite in that camp. I think he's a bit more methodical and he's happy to use the 30 seconds as much as he can.
Well, in less than 2.5 minutes he won't have that luxury. I tried to force it and try and get the cue ball out. Not left an awful lot though. Not as a starter anyway. Long red up into the top left.
What it does though, and you can see it there, the shock on his face, you're trying to build momentum and get something going, and even if he gets a second chance in this frame and wins it, he's not building any confidence because he's needing these multiple chances to win it. He needs a finish and really turn this one around by start taking a few out off the break.
Well, that was a fair distance away, Jake.
Yeah, so no damage done for Chris Day. He's going to get another opportunity.
It's almost like Jake's waiting for an easy chance to come along rather than take out a tough one. It's It's almost as if he's expecting Chris to hand him a frame like he has done earlier with a mistake. Just left himself a bit hampered here, bridging over that red. He's left a straight black now for Chris to drag another frame back. And he has done. 5-3.
Yeah, I still maintain it won't give him as much confidence as doing it in one visit, but importantly, he's still done it. So much power. It's most power I've ever seen him break with. I mean, he just came across this one a touch again, but the power is there.
Well, firstly, I was going to say yellows look great, and then those reds came down the table. And it's now, well, I think I'll be taking reds. And so is Chris. Oh, Chris.
Oh, no.
Well, can't believe the white stayed up. Making having a little smile, but I'm sure he won't be that happy with it. Hello. Only way to play that shot, Simon.
Yeah. Hand of apology.
Well, and he's back in position as well. Some fluke. Oof.
It's getting ragged. It's 15 seconds a shot.
Yeah, he's tying himself up again.
Still digging. Still has a chance.
Yeah, as long as the cue ball don't get too near that cushion, he can pop the one over the bag and screw into the yellow and red at the bottom of the table. Needs a little bit of fortune here because he's not going to really know where this is going. Uh-oh. He's not going to hang there again, is he? Not this time.
That felt like 15 seconds a shot visit, didn't it?
It
Nothing was under control. And that could be a big moment in this semi-final.
Jake still has an extension in his frame as well.
Wide open to go back 3 clear.
Jake's used that extension for his opening shot. Be playing this into the centre, just yellow then next to the black. Screw all the way up the table. Come off the 2 rails for me. A bit of right hand side on this. Perfect. Just plot these 2 yellows into this corner. Didn't want them at the same time.
No, he would like to have been a little bit closer to this 8 ball, but it's still a straight 8 ball for a 3-frame lead.
In it goes. McCartney McCartney is now one away from the final.
Take with the break. Maybe try and wrap this up straight away. Take the drama out of it. He's got the chance. Good break that from Jake.
Extension call.
Good cue ball. Got to play a breakout shot at some point.
Got into that a bit too much.
Yeah, that might be end of chance.
Just eat a bit more of the clock then.
Yeah, it's all good for him. We're inside the final 5.
Not a bad visit really for Jake.
Nothing really Chris can do, just contain. He's not in a bad
tall order now.
Yeah, he's not in a bad spot in his frame unless Jake comes up with a very good finish from here, but can't afford it to be dragged out. It has to be immediate. There's only 4 minutes left.
Yeah, you feel that even at the worst case scenario for Jake, this is going to take a couple of minutes to even win this frame for Chris Day. That would leave 2 minutes to get 2 frames. He knows he's going to have a go now. And super double.
Do you think you could squeeze that plant? It looks way off.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not for that one. He'd almost need to be on the bottom rail with a cushion to try and make that. I think he's got to play the double back plant into the middle and crash into the 2 yellows.
Very wide, very tough shot, and with that, perhaps his hopes of a turnaround have gone.
Yeah, I'm afraid that looks like the end of Chris Day's run. Jake's going to just roll these 2 reds into the bottom. These are guaranteed.
Another look at the tricky shot that Chris had. Had to chase something, just couldn't afford for it to be dragged out. That may well be his final shot here. Pro Series 6. Jake McCartney 2 away, although this takes some queuing in.
He got a bit too much side on that one there. He wanted to come the other side of the yellow really. Gonna have to screw this back a bit. They can draw like that.
Two minutes left. 3 frames. It's not going to make any difference here. He's going to try at least.
Cue ball.
Oh.
How's that stayed out?
No idea how that stayed out. Well, Chris might take that opportunity to shake Jake's hands. He knows he can't turn it around.
Yeah, I'd have been gone now.
But he's doing what he thinks is the right thing and letting Jake play a shot.
must admit, I wouldn't have bothered to see out this bit. The torture.
Both players know it's a strange situation. Both players know. He has decided to shake hands now. Chris Day finally concedes defeat. Jake McCartney gets the job done. He moves on to another Pro Series final. Declan Brennan awaits in the final, and Jake Stark is in to take him on.